Before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. It helps YouTube recommend more of my videos to you. Now let's begin. I never thought I'd be the type to explore the dark web. I wasn't a hacker, not even close. I was just a bored college student, scrolling aimlessly through forums late at night when I started reading about the hidden corners of the internet. Places where you could supposedly buy anything, witness anything, even see things so disturbing they would haunt your dreams. Most of it sounded like urban legend, the kind of story people shared to scare each other or to look cool online. But curiosity has a way of growing teeth. It started as a simple question. What if it's real? One night, alone in my dorm room, I installed Tor. I told myself it was just research, a 1-hour dive into the unknown. I'd click a few links, explore the chatter, and log off. Simple, safe. I even wrote it down in my journal like a reminder to stop after 1 hour. At first, the dark web was disappointing. Slow-loading pages with clunky layouts, broken links, ads for counterfeit passports, cheap drugs, and threads that promised hacking services that were obviously scams. I found myself yawning after just 10 minutes. I was about to call it a night when I stumbled upon a forum with a strange, minimalistic design. Its logo was nothing more than a grainy, slightly ajar door. There were no flashy images, no flashing banners, no warnings about illegal content, just the logo and the threads. The threads were unlike anything else I'd seen. Short, cryptic, almost bureaucratic. Some posts said, "Tonight's feed prepared. Protocol in effect." Others, "Confirmed. Standard access granted." No explanations, no context. The longer I scrolled, the more my stomach tightened. This wasn't your typical dark web nonsense. It had structure, an eerie order lurking behind the chaos. Then I saw it, a link buried in a reply, nothing more than a random string of letters and numbers. The warning read, "Do not click if you are not ready." I should have closed the tab. I didn't. The page loaded slower than anything I'd ever seen. Black screen. Then a single line appeared in small gray text, "Access granted." Below it was a video feed, grainy, shaky, but unmistakably live. The camera pointed at a room, white walls, concrete floor, a single chair in the center, and a faint overhead light. A countdown timer hovered above the chair. That was it. No screaming, no blood, no masks, just a room. And the uncomfortable knowledge that something was supposed to happen there. A chat box flickered to life. Usernames appeared, typing instructions, requests, bids. I didn't understand what they were for, and I didn't want to, but I couldn't look away. My heart thumped in my chest as the timer ticked down. And then a message appeared at the bottom of my screen, separate from the chat. "Your access has been logged. Further activity may be reported to authorities." Admin, I froze. My hands hovered over the mouse. This was no joke, no prank, no staged horror. Something was tracking me. And it wasn't personal. It didn't care about me. It cared about its own rules. Then a file downloaded automatically, "Read this.txt." My cursor hovered over it, trembling. Against every instinct, I opened it. Inside was a log of every site I had visited on Tor that night, timestamps, my ISP, and my city. One line at the bottom read, "We see you. Further intrusion will be met with consequences." My blood ran cold. My heart raced. I shut everything down, yanked the Ethernet cable out, and spent the rest of the night staring at the black screen, trying to convince myself it was a coincidence, a system glitch. But my mind refused to accept it. In the days that followed, the paranoia didn't fade. It intensified. My university email received a sophisticated phishing attempt that I almost clicked. My Instagram account was tagged in a photo posted by an account I didn't recognize. A package arrived at my dorm door, completely empty. I hadn't ordered it. I couldn't tell if this was a coincidence or the subtle reach of that forum. I couldn't prove it, but my mind saw patterns everywhere. Every notification, every ping, every shadow on my wall became a potential threat. I stopped using the internet on my laptop entirely. I bought a cheap flip phone, deleted almost all of my social media accounts, and avoided logging in anywhere. Even browsing normal websites made me tense, waiting for the familiar gray text of a warning for the silent log of my activity. Sleep became a battlefield. Ordinary sounds, the hum of my laptop, the creak of my dorm door, the faint buzz of my phone triggered panic. I would wake in the middle of the night, convinced I had received a new warning, a new file, a new log of my existence. It wasn't supernatural. There was no masked figure lurking outside my window. The horror was far more effective. The thought that I had been observed, logged, cataloged, and that the very act of curiosity had made me visible. Sometimes when I would accidentally open a glitchy live stream, my heart would pound. A buffering YouTube video could trigger a memory so intense I had to close the tab immediately. Seeing a simple chair in a stock photo listing would make my stomach knot. The web itself had become a trigger, and even when I tried to convince myself I had gone too far with paranoia, the quiet reminders kept coming. A late-night text from an unknown number, an email with a blank subject line, a system notification that seemed routine but wasn't. I would check again and again, hoping for normalcy, hoping to find a logical explanation, but the system, whatever was behind that forum, didn't have to make sense. It didn't have to be visible. Its mere existence was enough to control my life. I tell myself it was just curiosity. One click, 1 second. That was all it took. 1 second to realize that the real horror of the dark web isn't a person waiting in a mask. It's the faceless system, precise, indifferent, watching, logging, existing entirely outside of your control. Years later, I still avoid unnecessary online activity. I check my surroundings whenever I use a computer. I double-check every notification, every email, every download. And though I try to convince myself I'm safe, I know better. Some corners of the web don't forget. Some eyes never blink. And the mind. Well, the mind remembers everything, because sometimes the only thing scarier than what you see is what you'll never know. I never thought I'd find myself on the dark web, and yet there I was late one night, scrolling aimlessly through Reddit threads about hidden corners of the internet. Most of it was nonsense. Scam sites, outdated links, troll forums. But there was one thread that caught my attention. The chat room that watches you. The post was old, buried under months of comments, but it described a hidden chat room on the dark web. No one knew who ran it. People claimed that if you entered, the room seemed ordinary at first, just a place to type, like any chat room. But then things would change. Names, photos, locations, even private messages from your real life would start appearing. The warnings were vague. If you see your own name, don't respond. I laughed. It sounded like one of those creepypasta stories college students made to scare themselves. But curiosity, as always, was stronger than logic. After setting up Tor, I searched for the address listed in the thread. The page loaded slowly. A simple login screen appeared. No colors, no images, just a blank box and a single line. Enter a name. Watch but do not interfere. I hesitated. Something in the phrasing made my skin crawl, but I typed a random username and clicked enter. The room appeared, simple black background, green text, blinking cursor. Other usernames flickered into the chat. Watcher1, Silent Shadow, Anon X. Nothing seemed unusual. They were typing messages, exchanging simple jokes, commenting on trivial topics. I relaxed. Maybe it was just a regular chat room after all. Then the first unusual message appeared. Welcome, Emma. I froze, my real name. I hadn't typed it. My heart pounded. Was it coincidence? A username someone else chose? I tried to brush it off. A few seconds later, another message popped up. Your dorm. Desk. Third drawer from left. I jerked back from my laptop. How could they know that? I hadn't shared that information anywhere. My dorm, my desk, even the specific drawer I used for private papers. It was impossible. I considered closing the tab. But my curiosity, my terror-driven curiosity, kept me glued. Then it got worse. The chat started filling with messages referencing my life, classes I was taking, recent assignments, even a project I had forgotten to submit. "She wears a blue hoodie in the library," one comment read. "Laughing with Jason at 3 p.m., another. Everything they typed was accurate. I tried to leave. I clicked the close button. Nothing happened. My mouse moved, but the tab remained open. Then a file appeared on my desktop. Observation_log.txt. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a detailed log. My browsing history, my Tor activity, my social media profiles, even snapshots of private messages I had sent days ago. The final line was chilling. "You are observed. Continue, and you will be cataloged." I yanked the Ethernet cable out, shutting down my laptop. My dorm room felt suddenly too small, too exposed. I sat in silence, shaking, waiting for something that never came. The next day, I noticed small things. Messages appearing in my email with no sender, notifications on social media accounts I hadn't logged into. A photo of my dorm door appeared on Instagram, posted by a fake account I couldn't trace. Each new anomaly was subtle, plausible, but undeniable. The person or system behind that chat room had access, and it was watching me. Weeks went by. I avoided the internet entirely. I left my laptop at a friend's apartment when I had to go online for assignments. I changed passwords repeatedly, but nothing seemed to matter. Every time I thought I was safe, a new subtle reminder appeared. An email, a notification, a file I didn't remember saving. One night, curiosity gnawed at me again. I opened my laptop in a private browser, disconnected from the network. I tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. I typed the old dark web address into Tor, fully expecting it to be gone. It wasn't. The chat room loaded immediately. My previous username flickered into the list. New messages were already there. "Emma, still here? Curious, aren't we?" My stomach dropped. The chat wasn't empty. It had never been empty. It waited, always. I typed nothing, I observed. The messages continued to reference my life, more precise than before. The coffee I had bought that morning, the exact number of steps I had taken walking from my dorm to the library, the song I was listening to on my headphones. And then a new message appeared. "We remember everything. You cannot erase yourself." I shut the laptop with trembling hands. For days I couldn't sleep. My anxiety built to an unbearable level. I couldn't be online. I couldn't even look at my phone without expecting the chat room to appear, like a hidden window somewhere, recording me, cataloging me, watching me. Months passed. I tried to rebuild some normal life online, but the paranoia never left. Every live stream, every chat room, every comment section felt like an extension of that hidden place. I could imagine it in every corner of the internet, silently observing, silently logging, silently reminding me that I had been seen. Even now, years later, I live with a subtle, permanent unease. I avoid unnecessary online activity. I limit my digital footprint. I check my surroundings when using devices. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, I hear the faintest echo in my mind. The blinking cursor of that black chat room, waiting, cataloging, always knowing. I tell myself it was curiosity that led me there. One click, one username, 1 second. That was all it took to leave a permanent mark. The dark web doesn't forget, and it doesn't forgive. And for anyone who stumbles across a hidden chat room, I can only offer one warning. Do not type your name. Do not look. Just close the browser and walk away. Because once they know you, the watching never ends. I never planned to visit the dark web. I wasn't a hacker, not even a tech wizard. I was just a bored college student, the kind who clicked on strange links at 2 a.m. to pass the time. But the stories about the dark web always intrigued me. Hidden markets, secret forums, illegal services, and of course, the rumors of live auctions no one was supposed to see. People said they were urban legends made up to scare newbies. But curiosity has a way of making you forget caution. It started on a quiet Thursday night. I had finished my assignments early and was scrolling through an online forum when someone mentioned a hidden auction site. The post was cryptic, not for the faint of heart. Only the observant survive, I laughed it off and clicked the link. Tor took over, the familiar onion address appearing in my browser. It was slow, agonizingly slow, but eventually it loaded. The website looked almost absurdly sterile. White background, black text, a single login page. No banners, no pop-ups, no flashy warnings. Just a box labeled Enter Access Code. I didn't have one, but below it was a link labeled Visitor Mode, Observe Only. I hesitated. A small part of me screamed to close the browser and walk away. But the larger part, the part addicted to curiosity, clicked it. The page loaded another black screen with a single live video feed. It was a room I would never forget. A concrete floor, bare walls, a single metal chair in the center, a single bare light bulb hanging from the ceiling. The camera was fixed on the chair. Nothing else. No sound. No movement. I scrolled down to see a chat window filled with usernames typing furiously. At first it looked like nonsense. Random letters, numbers, short commands. Then I noticed the pattern. People were placing bids, on something I couldn't see. My heart started to race. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a game, a performance piece, some kind of twisted prank. But my instincts told me it wasn't. And then the countdown appeared, a timer, starting at 30 minutes. Above it, a message. Auction will commence. Observe only. Do not interact. I froze. I hadn't interacted. I hadn't clicked anything other than observe. But that message made my stomach turn. Something about it felt real, official, dangerous. I couldn't look away. The feed remained empty, the chair alone, yet the chat grew more intense. Names scrolled past, bids placed, comments typed, but no one said what was happening. A sense of organized secrecy filled the room, like a machine running smoothly behind the scenes. And that's when the first warning appeared. Not in the chat, but in my downloads folder. A file had appeared automatically. Observe_log.txt. I hesitated before opening it. The file was simple, clean, and precise. It listed every page I had visited on Tor in the last 48 hours. My ISP, my city, my device ID. At the bottom, one line chilled me to the bone. Your observation has been noted. Further intrusion will be tracked. I didn't close the browser immediately. I couldn't. My curiosity had me frozen, trapped in fascination and terror at once. The timer continued its countdown, and the chat exploded in activity. Users typed cryptic comments that made my stomach knot. Higher. Confirmed. Next bidder ready. 30 minutes later, the feed finally shifted. The camera moved slightly, focusing on the chair in a way it hadn't before. And that's when I noticed it. The chair wasn't empty. There was a figure slumped over it, covered by a gray sheet. No movements, no sounds. Just the figure. I tried to look away, but my eyes were glued. The chat became frantic. Users typed commands. Raise, confirm bid, timer running. The sheet trembled as though the person beneath it was moving, or maybe struggling. But the video quality was too poor to see clearly. My imagination filled in the rest. I wanted to close the tab, but some part of me needed to know what was going on. A new message appeared, not in chat, not on the page, but in a text box in my browser. Your attention is recorded. Closing this page will not remove your observation. Consider this your first warning. I panicked and finally tried to close the tab. Nothing happened. The cursor wouldn't move. The browser itself froze for several seconds. When it finally responded, I saw a small new window open, a plain text box titled ADMIN_NOTICE. Inside was a single sentence. We know who you are. We see you. Stop observing. I slammed my laptop shut. My hands shook. Sweat ran down my back. I tried to convince myself it was just a sophisticated script, a warning designed to scare nosy students like me. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The next day, my paranoia became unbearable. My email received an unusual alert. A login attempt from a device I didn't own. My social media accounts showed minor anomalies, posts disappearing, friends unable to message me. Nothing catastrophic, nothing overt, but enough to make me question reality. Was it coincidence? Or was it the same system tracking me beyond the dark web? I avoided the internet for days. I disconnected my devices, bought a cheap phone with no internet, and tried to live offline. But even then, the psychological impact lingered. Every notification I received, even a harmless system update, made me flinch. Every chair I saw in real life reminded me of the feed. Every countdown timer, even on a microwave, sent my pulse racing. Weeks later, curiosity got the better of me. I cautiously returned to the site, using a completely new device, new Tor installation, new throwaway email. The login page loaded, visitor mode. The same black screen appeared, but the chair was empty again. The countdown timer appeared, identical to before. The chat scrolled in a ghostly rhythm, and I realized something horrifying. It didn't matter if I was observing or not. The system knew I was there. It wasn't a person in a mask. There were no stalkers, no threats with guns. The danger wasn't immediate, wasn't physical. It was operational, precise, indifferent. And the mere fact that I had looked once meant I would always remember. I would always flinch. I would always wonder what had happened to the person under the sheet. I shut the laptop and walked away. I haven't returned since, but the memory hasn't faded. Even now, when I see a chair in an empty room, I feel the same dread. I think about the faceless system behind the dark web, precise, organized, indifferent, and I wonder, how many people click observe only and never come back? How many do? And what do they see that they'll never forget? The dark web isn't about horror movies. It isn't about masked killers or screaming victims. It's about systems, protocols, and faceless operations that can touch you without ever moving from a keyboard. And the true horror is that some part of you will always remember. One click, one observation, 1 second. That was all it took, and I'll never forget. And that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you enjoyed these chilling stories. If you did, don't forget to drop a comment with your favorite one, hit that like button, and subscribe for more spine-tingling tales coming your way. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.